why am I hearing myself double? How's everybody doing today? Thank you for passing by. My name is Jose. I am a golden in Kendo, and today we're gonna be watching some Kendo together, talking about Kendo, and overall having a good time, hoping to learn something today. If you're here, please let me know by just hitting the like button. I'm gonna tell you, I also have a Discord server where we talk about Kendo. We just get together and try to learn from each other. If you would like to join the Discord server, I'm gonna put the link. Should be coming up shortly in the chat. I'm gonna tell you the plan for today. The plan is I'm going to play a few Jigeko videos that I found online. Mainly it's going to be some from Korean dojos and some from Japanese dojos. Number one, to see what can we learn by watching them, and also to see what can we pick up different wise on Japanese training and Korean training. That being said, if you haven't checked it out, this week I did a stream with Nathan Gallagher from Costa Mesa Dojo, but California Budogu. And I hope you guys enjoy that. I have another stream coming up next Saturday with Francis from, oh my God, I always forget the pronunciation, Saisho, Canada. Let me just double check. I hope he doesn't hate me. Okay. Seisho. Oh my God, I'm so bad. And it's, yeah, sorry. So yeah, I'll be having that interview next week. And what he does is that he makes custom-made kotes and repairs. So you can pass by, ask any questions you may have about how to repair your kote, what should you be looking at when buying kote, some of the important features and some of the things that it's relevant to have in a kote. Okay. 1 second, let me make sure the camera is good. Okay. Yeah, okay, we're good. Let me make sure I have everything running down quickly. Nice. Okay, so the videos that I have for today are a little bit short, but hopefully we can get some good results out of watching how different practices are done. Now, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what I'm practicing, about what I'm focusing on right now, and maybe you can share as well what is your focus points right now, and I'm gonna try to pick up from the videos how can I implement these things, how can I copy these things and put them into practice. So the first thing I'm working on right now, it's stability and proper impact. So stability of the moment of the technique and proper impact to have a fluid follow through. I'm trying to avoid getting stuck by just doing the fumikomi and landing down, and just making sure that I have power to go through and I have good impact and good posture with my hands and my body at the moment of impact. The other thing that I'm working the most as well, it's fluidity in my footwork and putting pressure towards my opponent. So you guys know the big word that everybody wants to talk about is seme. So I guess for me, it will be kind of this physical aspect of seme, of applying pressure and being able to move fluidly towards the opponent. So I found a couple of videos that I think in Jigeko, they show this. And the cool thing about me watching Jigeko over competition is that in Jigeko, there's not the pressure of having to get the Ippons at all cost. So watching Jigeko allows you, to be okay with making mistakes and trying different things. So I think it's good not only for us to participate in both shiai and Jigeko, but also watch both. Do Mitori Geiko from both sides. I don't know what you think. I don't know what your thoughts are. If you can let me know, I'll appreciate that. Okay. If you let me know how the volume is for everything, that will be great. So make sure that nothing is too loud. But Here we go. Okay. So this one is one of the Japanese dojos. I'm sure you guys will probably recognize this dojo from several Instagram posts and videos on YouTube. So what I want to do is I want to let it play for a little bit and then we'll come back because the videos are short to see what can we pick up from this. Oh, that's a very sharp, very fast kote. Very sharp man, right? And this is what I mean by being able to practice different things and not really worry about making mistake. I feel that the Kenshi on the left, he is allowing himself, if he doesn't feel that, you know, he can really do anything, he's allowing his partner to come in and attack. Not messing up his technique. Pokemon, nice shiai control. Yeah, that's another thing that I want to work on myself. And I'm excited to talk to Francis next week about kote because I want to figure out what his thoughts are on how does your kote affect, or the palm of the kote affect your shiai control. Like, I know a kote can restrict your movement, okay, but the ability to feel the shinai with your fingers and so on, I want to know how important or how many differences he has noticed in his experience when it comes to different types of kote, different materials and so on. Shen, thank you for passing by. How are you doing? Nice, nice. So hopefully we can get some good inspiration, some Jigeko here to apply into practices. Ooh, I want to talk about this part right here in a second. Ha! I'm way too familiar with that stretching the leg from that tension. Sorry, from that tension. He got his kote. Okay, so I'm gonna say that this is not necessarily the most active Jigeko we will see today, right? But definitely there's a couple of elements that seem interesting to me and some things that may be even open for misinterpretation. Like that last part where I said I want to talk about, it looked, right, like they were still. It looked like they were just not moving. The truth is that even though there's not too much motion, I don't feel that any of them are stuck. Maybe at some point they kind of, between switching their weight, they didn't have the most effective ability to move forward, but it's definitely not just standing still. So I'm gonna get from the beginning, and I'm going to assume that the Kenshi on the left is the one that's most experienced, is the one that's more in control of the fight, because I don't feel like he feels the pressure of having to come in, right? And he is challenging his partner's seme, I believe, or pressure. And I feel that right off the bat, the Kenshi on the right is feeling that need to have to close the distance and put pressure on his partner, right? So let's watch a little bit of this. So you see this little pressure forward that the Kenshi on the right did. He does a little bit of a pressure forward, and then his partner doesn't overreact, doesn't just lunge in. This I feel is normally the mistake that I see on beginners, that as soon as you do this, they just shoot, right? But he didn't. He counter the pressure. And by doing that, he made him react, right? So now it looks like here he is getting off the center, like having the need to do something, right? And at this point, he is in motion. So if he had, I don't know, maybe the intention or, like the necessity, the will to do this, he probably would have been able to come in for the kote with the same motion that he had. Maybe not. I'm just overthinking it here. Or maybe even challenge the man and being able to get the man as the person is starting to move, right? Because at this point, I don't feel like he had any momentum, but he did. Right? He decided to not go and instead just kind of messed up his opponent's man. But I feel that he successfully made an opening. And whether he took it or not is part of the information that he's gathering. And now he has this in his data bank, let's say. So at this point, I feel like right after when they're resetting, maybe they're resetting a little bit too close for my taste and engaging a little bit too close. I personally like to reset a little bit further to try to feel my opponent and try to put pressure as I approach. And I feel like at this point, okay, it's not that it's impossible, but you really cannot put a moving pressure. You have to apply different type of pressure. And you're more at risk of the person just shooting something and you overreacting. So you see, a person on the right is trying to do everything he can to make a motion. The fun part about this is that you can tell that his partner is not reacting to his pressure, but is also not just standing still without paying attention to him, right? You can see that he's very attentive. And I'm guessing that that's what gets him to not say, I'm gonna come in. Which part, Shen? You think that right here when he throws the kote, it's a maki? I don't think so. I think he's just gonna go directly into the kote. It's more like osai, I guess. Like he puts the pressure to get him to... Okay, let me see. He's trying to put the pressure in to get him to kind of react this way, right? Where he's going to make the opening. Or if he doesn't do anything, he can go for the man, right? But I would say that Maki, instead of doing this, it will be more of like a corkscrew, even if you don't do the full one, right? It's more of a corkscrew motion. So I wouldn't consider this to be Maki, personally. Right? And he went for that kote. So this is something that I remember when I was in the Butoku Tengashiku in California. Riga Sensei was trying to get us to understand better the seme. I feel that here he made contact, and let me ask you, do you feel that he moved his partner? Do you feel that he actually made an opening by making him, lose the center or really have a full opening? For me, the feeling is much different in this one. It feels more that, okay, he came in and he kind of got it. He got his motion in, he showed his speed, but he didn't really have an opening from the opponent. If he would have had a better opening, I think the point would have been much clearer, and he would have been able to come in fully. I feel that even that he got contact, he had the feeling that he knew he couldn't really come in and close the distance. And this is something that becomes very physical, and it can also be luck, because the opponent could have been ready for it and just maybe like Suriage man or Otoshi man or Aikote man. It could have been many different things. I don't feel that he had a clear opening for that kote like the guy on the left had when the guy lifted up the sword. So Shen, is it correct, Sanshin, to go back like he did instead of closing in? Okay. Are you asking for testing? Are you asking for shiai? Because again, for testing, I wouldn't want to show this type of Sanshin because it's showing his lack of commitment to the technique. In shiai, if he gets if he gets a good ippon, if he gets good contact, with good the totsubu, kiai, and posture and all that stuff, yeah, that can be an ippon. But when you go back, the Sanshin, the main thing is that, are you alert? Are you still connected to the opponent? And can you still, if the opponent comes in, are you still into the fight? Or you just kind of like, okay, I just hit, I'm just getting away. Some judges might be more picky than other ones. If he got good contact, I would say yes. With the speed, if you watch it in real time, look. That type of hit that is just like like that, I wouldn't give that as an ippon, right? It kind of even almost sounded like it hit Suba, even though I don't think it did. Yeah, it didn't, right? But it just wasn't a good sound. The spot was good and stuff like that, but it just didn't look like he mean it. And I think he didn't look like he mean it because of the kamae of his opponent. Let's see. So in here, he tried a Suriage kote, right? Very interesting. Now, again, here, he's taking advantage to the distance and his physical ability, his speed, and it's a little bit, again, physical, not really a good opening, right? Okay, he had an opportunity, but he hasn't really explored opening. I think this is very important to try out without getting stuck, because that's a key word. Without getting stuck, it's very important to try out, because here's where you're gonna learn about behaviors of your opponent rather than just taking advantage of your physicality, luck, or whatever, right? Because you can do this type of jigeko where it's like a karigeko, and I think I have one video like that today, and it becomes luck more than you made an opening. Pokemon, you don't have audio of the video I'm showing. I think it's because I've been playing frame by frame. Normally in frame by frame you don't have it, but like for example this spot right here is not very loud, and I don't think his ki was very loud either. Did you hear that? Let me check my sound system here. I'm getting sound, so let me know if you're not getting sound on the... Or maybe is the music too loud or something? Try putting it down there. You should have it, but when I do frame by frame, the audio is not there. Okay. Let me try maybe putting up more of the sound. Oh, you know what? You're right. You probably don't have sound. Now you will. Sorry. Like this, right? Yeah, my bad. I was getting the sound, but I'm still learning some of this stuff, so my bad. So you see here, he is coming in. I feel that his body posture is great. I think that his approach is good. I would have liked a little bit more contact with the sword, right? Just to feel the opponent's state. Because I'm sure that if he would have done that, well, he maybe felt it through his kamae, but if he would have done that, he probably wouldn't have approached as much. And now here, there's a little bit of contact. It's probably much more communication there. I like the way he's coming in. His partner is closing the distance, and he took this advantage. He took this, but I feel that he reacted to his opponent's motion by coming in with a counter already, right? When there was not really a technique, an opening. And even though that his opponent was coming in, he was a little bit short, and he had to push in the follow through. So I'm not seeing too much commitment from him. So you see, as soon as he pushes forward, his opponent is getting a reaction. Okay. Then right after, you're gonna see this push. Look at this push. Makes his opponent go back. Right? He doesn't want to challenge him. He doesn't want to challenge the approach. He keeps going backwards. So again, he's being very calm, but also aggressive at the same time with his pressure. Joan, gracias por pasar por aquí. Dice saludos. Voy a traducirlo. So he's saying hello and that good tips and a big hug. Gracias, Joan. Vamos a ver cuando nos sentamos un día con los videos que tengas tú de tu torneo y podemos hablar de tu Kendo también si quieres. Okay, so right after this, you see, he puts the pressure. Now this is interesting, right? Because the sensei, or the person on the left, he puts the pressure. He didn't get a reaction. He held his position. He held his ground. Didn't get a reaction. Then he realized, okay, he's going back, but he's not going back fully, right? It's really hard to see because of the hakama. But if you look at where he was before, right? It's like about here. And when he goes back just a little bit, right? It's mostly to kind of make a little bit of distance so he doesn't get stuck if his opponent decides to come in. But he's not really giving all the ground back. So his opponent kind of gets, I don't know, like the need to have to attack. I think that maybe it was like a predetermined technique that he had in his mind, and he said, okay, I'm gonna do man maybe to get a reaction and good do, but he could have just gone for one man and probably looked much better, especially if this was a test, because he comes in with a not full man, right? Not like a real man in there, and then he hits the man. Now I do have to say, within this mistake, there's a lot of good. His footwork, look at his footwork, right? I've been seeing a lot lately where it's like the man is like pop pop, but the foot was like pop pop. So you have to make sure that this is coordinated. Very good posture. Very good, very good. The last man, I think it was a little bit too high in order to transfer good power, and that's why it looked light. Right, he's kind of like pulling a little bit like this. Would have pulled like this more, better energy transfer. But again, very good. I'm going to say though, on a quick disclaimer here. I've seen some of the trainings in this dojo, and I believe, because I practice in floors like this, I believe that this floor is very slippery. Even doing kamae in this type of floor, if you're not used to it, is really challenging. Is really challenging. Saul, Welcome. Oh, Conan. First of all, thank you. A distance control. Yes, it is a very good showing of distance control. And we should get to talk someday. I really like your comments. I really like your perspective on things, man. Saul, thank you for the congratulations. Saludos desde Mexico. Greetings from Mexico. Good. I hope I can go. I think I will be going there shortly, soon, in a few months. So maybe we'll get to practice together. Maybe you can give me some tips of where should I go to visit. I want to go see cenotes. I don't know how you say that in English. It's like this cool like openings from the ground and it goes down to this water things. Like it's like a spring water maybe. I haven't never been one of those. They look super cool in the pictures, and I would like to go see that in Mexico. So you see, there's a lot of push and give here, right? I'm going to say that mainly the only reason why I'm stopping this for a second here is because I see many people do this mistake where they do the work with the shinai, but they don't do the work with the body. And they try to do this, go like this, whatever. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but you have to be very mindful that when you do this, you also try to maybe gauge your opponent or understand your opponent by giving a little bit of pressure with the distance, right? Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be you have to step, but giving a little bit, getting a little bit of that pressure with your body, because a lot of the times I see people are doing this and then the other person can just come in because they're not ready to move. They're just stuck. So it's one of the things that you want to try to understand, that you're not just doing a motion with your shinai. You're trying to understand your opponent. You're trying to move your opponent. So Conan, that's why they get their kote smacked. You mean because of their lack of understanding of distance? Sorry, sometimes the messages take a little bit too long to get here, and I don't know if I'm talking about the same thing. So you're talking about the previous time where we talked about the distance control, right? When he kind of separated a little bit, giving a little bit of ground. That's what I'm thinking. Because I see sometimes senseis do come in and like the guy's just standing there and they can smack the kote. I'm thinking that's the scenario you're talking about. And then fighting for sentencing mainly Kiken Taichi and Tenouchi. Listen, I love your comments. I love when you like your thoughts and your point of view. I couldn't agree more. And again, that is something that you also see a lot when people are trying to replicate the videos, because guys, there's nothing wrong about replicating or trying to learn from videos, but you got to understand also what's happening. So it's hard to make the difference sometimes, because maybe sometimes we think we understand it. So this is one of the reasons why I also like to bring these things up, so that way we kind of get experience from other people, and we can actually do better. But a lot of times we see people trying to replicate this type of motions, and it has to do a lot with Tenouchi. If you do arm motions like this, you're gonna overshoot it, and then you're gonna create an opening yourself as well. So there's a lot of things that we need to be careful, and we need to make sure that we are going the right way. So Connor, you saying no, you were talking about fighting for center. People use their hands and expose their kote in process. Okay, so yeah, I think you wrote before I said the same thing, just different words, but yes. So this, I like this approach right here, and I think has to do a little bit of what Conan just mentioned. look at the handwork, look at the way that he's approaching, and then he makes the approach into the technique, right? You're gonna see it. Hold on. Like Conan says, pressure, distance control, fighting for the center. Tenouchi is very important. And Kiken Taichi, also very important because it gives you that ability to continuously go from one thing to the next. So if you see here, he comes down, he brings down, trying to get control of his opponent's sword as he's already moving forward and directly into the technique. Watch it one more time. Watch it one more time here. You see? I think that this one is one of the best attacks that this guy did in this Jigeko, right? Very clear. And I think that's maybe also what he's working for. And funny enough, this is the first time he challenges the man. Actually, the second time he challenges the man, right? Very nice. I think this is very nice. He puts a little bit of pressure. Oh, sorry, this was the one before. His opponent, actually, okay, his opponent moved in as he was going back, but he didn't hesitate. See, his opponent is putting the pressure to come in, and instead of him going back, trying to do anything weird, he just challenges in. Tenouchi technique, right? Still, maybe he wants to work. I feel like he didn't get the best strike he could have because his arm was not in the right position. Maybe also it affected his Tenouchi as well. But I think great approach from him. Great approach. So in this one, it's a little bit different, right? Puts the pressure, but went underneath and really didn't really challenge his opponent. One thing that I'm also, and again, this is maybe me overthinking. I feel that the attack before he was very successful as well, because his left leg was engaged. When he moved in, it looked like he immediately put the energy into his leg to go forward. Here, it looked more like when he moved forward, he just landed his weight on the front leg, right? So this leg, although it's slightly engaged there, doesn't seem like it's really providing too much force. And then he had to switch quickly to try to do Fumikomi, but not so much forward momentum, right? Where his opponent, he puts the pressure and immediately goes in. Look, he puts pressure in, his partner replies with pressure, and then from in one motion into the man. Conan, that's the disadvantage of going underneath the opponent's shiai. You love center movement and you get smacked if timed well. So, wait, okay, the disadvantage of going underneath the opponent's shiai. You lose center momentarily and you get smacked if timed well. Okay, yes. And, you know, we should practice, we should be able to do both, right? But you should understand that going underneath is a big risk, right? Totally agree. So I feel like at this point, the sensei is kind of giving him a little bit of different pressure, right? Now he's changing the style. I'm assuming that's his sensei. Or the sensei, one of the instructors. See, he's not giving ground back. So this moment right here is one that I wanted to talk a little bit about. So you see there is pressure forward. Here you're gonna see that it's gonna look like they're just standing, but especially here you're gonna see that he is giving pressure. He's making him hesitate. He's not letting him come in. Right? He comes in. He didn't feel confident. He is almost like about to fall, but engaged with the left leg. The left leg is the one giving putting the force to shoot the body towards the opponent, right? From there, it looks like they're both standing still, but he is waiting, or holding, I should say holding, for a reaction of the opponent. He doesn't get it, so he gives more pressure. And he didn't just rush into the opponent, right? He hammered, or he held to make sure that he got a reaction that he wanted. His opponent went back, so he kept putting the pressure. Challenging him into coming in for an attack. Then there was, oh, sorry, I pressed play by accident. Oh my God, sorry. The player sometimes goes crazy for some reason. Let me reopen the file for a second. Wait, hold on, guys. Let me stop this because it got frozen. Okay, let me just switch to here real quick. Sorry, let me just reopen the file. For some reason, it just didn't. It got stuck. Okay. It should be around here. Two-bit mage. Give me 1 second. I will read your comments. Thank you for passing by the stream, by the way. So you see here, after he puts the pressure several times, making him go back, he gets a little bit of pressure back. They're fighting the pressure, but I feel that they understood maybe he came into a stalemate, and after that it's going to be lock. It's going to be chance. This is the part where I'm going to say that I don't know why he disengaged. Maybe I don't know what's happening behind. Maybe there's a fight behind it, so it's gonna be, you know, it's out of context. I couldn't really tell you that. So, 2-bit mage, you said you haven't practiced for 10 years, but you want to get back into it. Do you have any advice? Also, have you been doing Keiko during the pandemic? Okay, during the pandemic, I didn't do Keiko at all. I did running and I did Suburi and a couple of Kendo exercises. When I got back, because we had to wear the mask, I was, especially with the people I was training, I didn't want people to pass out or anything like that. My biggest challenge coming back was wanting to do the things that I knew I could do, but I really couldn't because I wasn't getting enough air. So I got really tired the first time. So I'm gonna say, I don't know why you stop. I don't know what condition you're coming back in. I see Conan said just attend to Keiko and that's half the battle. He's correct, man. What you want to do is you want to go in. It doesn't matter the level where you're in. It doesn't matter what point of your physical ability you might be. Just going in there and starting to get the swing of things, a lot of it is going to start coming back. I feel that Kendo wise, the technique wise, when I came back, my biggest problem. Okay, let me go back into full screen. Okay, so after taking a long break, my biggest challenge, for the pandemic, my biggest challenge coming back in, first is trying to get the motions right that I knew that I could do, but I wasn't really, let's say, I was rusty, right? I think it happens for me. It used to happen a lot, like when playing guitar. If you stop playing for a little while, for a lot, you're going to lose a lot of the things, but they'll come back fairly quick. All those things are gonna come back fairly quick. And the biggest challenge that I had coming back into Jigeiko was my distance. I was coming in too close. So I think with a little bit of feedback and maybe you understanding, seeing the situations, I think that also goes away fairly quick. When it comes about conditioning, listen, Kendo, when you practice, you should be challenging yourself rather than trying to figure out what everybody else is doing. I think I learned this kind of the hard way when I was practicing at the Osaka Fuke and the Osaka Police, because I wanted to be as fast as those guys, but I really couldn't be. They had not only knowledge of the drill, they only had better condition, they had better technique, and by trying for me to do that, I was actually compromising a lot of my learning, my technique, and overall, I was kind of pushing myself to a point where I could have gotten injured as well. So I understood that, and then I tried to do it the hardest I could, but at the level where I was. I always tell people when I say, for example, let's do fast kirikaeshi or let's do like fluid kirikaeshi, I mean to do it correctly, as fast as you can. So you don't have to be the fast that you can possibly make it, but I always try to make it the fast I can make it without compromising my form, for example. If you want maybe some exercises for conditioning and stuff like that, it's cool if you want to do them. But I say don't even take time away from going back to the dojo. I think going back to the dojo will be the most important part. And you can do these other things at the same time, like maybe go out for a run. I don't know how many times a week you would like to plan to go to the dojo, but those things are only gonna take time away from you going back to Kendo. And if it's something that you would like to do and you would like to experience, don't take time away from it. Just show up. I think you're gonna have a good experience. And if you do, come back and let me know how it went. I would like to know. And overall, what are some of your biggest challenges? Because let me tell you, you're not the only one, but I hope you are an inspiration to other people as well. That when I was doing a lot of the videos during the pandemic, and when I started doing like the training with masks and stuff like that, my main goal was trying to figure out how can I let people know that it's okay to come back, even if you don't feel that you have the same physical abilities, if you don't feel like maybe everybody else got better and you didn't. It doesn't matter, man. Kendo's for you, and you should do it because you enjoy it. Unless you're getting paid for it, you should do it because you enjoy being there at the dojo. Hope that makes sense. And you're welcome. Anytime, listen, we have also a Discord server that I don't know why the link hasn't showed up. If you would like to pass by the Discord server and, ask questions to people, see everybody else's experiences. There's people there that have gone injured and, gone back to the dojo, done all this stuff. So you can pick up a couple things from somebody else. Okay? So hope it works out for you, man. Conan, what skill you can beat faster? With skill, you can beat faster players. That's right. That's what makes Kendo interesting. It's not a speed match. And you know what? I'm gonna add to that, Conan. But I'm gonna say that everybody, regardless of level, everybody has a chance of scoring an Ippon. So I know Kendo is not about scoring an Ippon and stuff like that. But if we're talking about beating somebody, everybody has a chance to it. There's actually one of my students that, I picked him up from ground zero until today, and we do maybe a shiai practice, and he gets my man, and that's the cool thing about Kendo. Yeah, that's true, Conan. That is so true. I will be dead, or at least missing a bunch of limbs too. A bunch, I only have 4, right? So why is there no video showing up here? Hold on. Okay. So this is the end of the video, guys, by the way. So we couldn't really see the kote. I think it was a very good kote based on coming in, how he came in, and so on. This player always gets stuck when it's at the end for some reason. Okay, anyways, let's see. Let's play it right here. He's putting pressure. Okay, at this point he's getting a little bit nervous maybe. Just watch his posture, his footwork. And he gave the pressure, he held, and then he committed to a technique when his partner was coming in. So again, it's not just about, okay, who got the last Ippon or whatever, but I want to point out the importance of putting the pressure, holding, not waiting, holding, and then committing to a technique. I put more attention on him rather than the other guy because he looked like he was the one getting the attention or the help. His partner, if you notice, he didn't look like he was stressed out about getting hit. He was okay with being hit, and this is one of the things that I love about watching Jigeko, right? He didn't mess his partner's technique by just covering it randomly. He gave him an honest attempt, right? So this is one thing that you only get from Jigeko and not shiai. Okay, so now this one is a Korean dojo. I wanted to make a little bit of a comparison, or like a little bit of a, yeah, just to get a different perspective. I realized, for the past few streams, I've done mostly competitions. I wanted to show some of the European Kendo Championships, Ippons, because, it more relatable to a lot of the people watching. But also, I do realize that I haven't pulled out many Korean dojos. And last week, somebody asked me about some of the differences. So I would like to maybe explore that a little bit. So if you have experience with that, please let me know. Guys, if you haven't, please hit the like button on the stream. So hopefully get this pushed out to more people. And remember, next Saturday, I will be having an interview with Seisho Canada. And he makes custom-made kote and does a lot of bugle repair. So you can come and ask all the questions about what you need to have in your kote, what can you do to maintain your kote, what can you do to repair your kote, materials and all the stuff, all the questions. Please come and let's bombard him with questions. So again, this is another short video. Let's watch it, and then I'll go back and try to go around some of the important points of the video. And mainly I'm going to focus on these two just because they're the ones in front of the camera. But if you see anything interesting from anyone behind, just, point it out. Sorry, guys. Ah, nice, nice. Okay, this part I guess you're gonna skip because all we see is a back. Conan, isn't the same sensei from the previous video? That would be hilarious. You know what? Might be right. Let me play the other video in the back real quick. That would be hilarious. Yo, it is. It is the same sensei. That's so crazy. I swear I didn't do. I spent the week watching and like looking for videos. Oh wait, okay, and looking for videos. Yes, it is. I just looked at the other video to see his study, and it is the same sensei. Okay, so now it's cool because we can actually see a little bit of a difference on his approach, right? On how he's coming in. I didn't put the date on. I never put the date when the video was posted to see maybe difference on timing. That would have been an interesting thing too. I like his Kendo though. I like the way that he's making people having to go, He's not just there for you to, okay, just make an opening or whatever. No, he's actually challenging people to go in and letting them feel the pressure. Nice, Simon. Again, we always see his back. Oh, nice. Okay, I would like a little bit more. I would like to see a little bit more follow through, but the attempt for the kotemen is very nice. Okay, good interaction there too. Very nice straightforward, man. Oh, again, very nice straightforward, man. It's interesting now because, this student, he is now challenging more the men, So I feel like now he's experimenting, right? He's trying different things to just go in for that and get the, get the learning, get the experience from there. Okay, let's watch a little bit of this. So very interesting, the motion around, and this is something that I notice sometimes for people. They move around, they're trying to make the opening, that's fine. But when they don't feel that they got an opening, when they go back completely out. And there's like the connection is broken. Here, they're still there. Granted, also Sensei is giving a good connection as well, so he's also closing the distance too. He's not letting him get away. So here, this first attack, I feel is an attack out of, I'm not gonna say desperation, but just necessity of having to do something and not really finding out what could be done, because he goes in and there's not really any indication that there was an opening, right? He just went. Good response, I feel, from, we're gonna call him the sensei because we saw him in the previous video. Okay, well, good response from the sensei of pushing back in after he got pressure, right? Like, see, he gets pressure, and right before he's realizing that his pressure didn't do anything, he starts committing to a pressure, and now it makes him go, okay, he has to overcompensate now, right? He didn't go in for an attack because it wasn't really an opportunity. He didn't get any indication there was going to be an opening. But it does start giving control. It start giving more of that mental, what's it called? Yeah, it puts him above on the mental game, right? So I like the fact that Sensei here just made the opening. He felt that, okay, he had an honest attempt, and he just let him come in. He didn't disturb his men. He probably could have messed up the men, but listen, he came in with good pressure, and okay, he was making the distance. He could have pushed his sword out, and the reason why I said that is because I feel like his sword is engaged, but he didn't, right? Because he said, okay, cool, this is an opportunity, good opportunity, it's good. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to get hit. And this is something that I always try to make a point for myself to not be, I'm gonna use the word arrogant, right? To say, okay, you didn't get my man. No, he tried to not get hit, but he didn't mess up his opponent from not getting the feedback that he needs to get from his attempt by just like being like, okay, I'm gonna get out of the way. It doesn't matter, especially in Jigeiku. It doesn't matter. And this is a concept that I feel that it took me a long time to kind of just like, it's weird, because it's not that like I'm not trying to get hit, but I want to be immersed in the mentality of like I'm fighting for real. But then lately I've been trying to get into this point where I want to work on something specific, get a good opening, and then try to admit to myself my pressure didn't work and they had better pressure by getting hit. It's weird. It's just, I don't know how to really phrase it yet. Hope you guys understand what I'm saying though. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this real quick, and then I'm gonna skip the backside shot. So this is very interesting, right? Because at this point, I feel that the guy on the left right now, he just went, right? He just went with nothing. No indication that anything was happening. It looked like he's having very good pressure, very good approach with his legs. But I guess that he already had in his mind, I'm gonna go for men. And for this reason, I feel like in this one, he does cover and counters, right? It looks much different than the one before, right? Because in this one, he advanced when the sensei wasn't prepared, when the person on the left wasn't prepared, when he was kind of going back, right? He puts the pressure and then immediately he responds. So it's a little bit of a different timing, right? Here, person on the left, okay, let me just go back a little bit. In here, person on the left is gonna give pressure, and person on the right is gonna commit to the pressure forward and counter his pressure and commit to a technique. Person on the left, on response to that, starts going backwards. Right? Okay, push pressure, respond with pressure. You see extension of the left leg to not really committing until he sees that there's an opportunity, and then he lunges into the man. Person on the left is going backwards, but is not really disturbing the opening, the opportunity there. Okay, maybe it wasn't a man. We can't really see it because of the camera angle, but in this one over here, it's much different. Here, there's no indication. He's not really doing anything. He's just standing there, and then he decides to start putting the pressure. He hasn't given any opening. All he does is counter the strike. Makes sense. Different. This is the things that I'm trying myself to understand. When is it a successful pressure that I'm actually either ready when my opponent is coming or making the person move, versus I'm just going in because I just felt like I couldn't hold my own pressure. So let me see, Conan, because I know you put a couple of messages and I haven't read anything. Okay, Conan, you said it feels more like a reaction, to be honest. More like Sensei let go prematurely. Okay, and you said you stand corrected. Sensei tried outside and he went to Ura for a hit. Okay, so yes, because you make the comment. Let's go back a little bit. I feel that Sensei tried something, right? Tried to put the pressure. I was actually paying attention to the sword. You did. So that's awesome. Okay, so maybe, okay, so I see what you're saying. He tried Osai and the other person went Ura and then he hit. And also you were saying that the guy on the right, the non-sensei that we've been calling, he tried to come in as a reaction, but then when you saw it again, you saw that it wasn't. Okay, cool, good, and that's why I like doing this thing. So what do you think, Conan? What do you think about this one specifically? You think he just went in maybe as a reaction, or maybe just because he already had in the system that he needed to go in? Because I feel that that's what happened. He just went in, and the sensei, there wasn't an opening. He was alert, and he was able to counter and hit. Just kind of to let him know, okay, this is not the opportunity, right? Yes, Conan. I think there's a lot of predetermined strikes in this guy's kendo, and it's interesting because I don't know if you deal with this yourself, but I do sometimes. I feel that I go for a man and I go like, wait, did I go because there was an opportunity, or did I go because, you know, I just came in with the intention of doing that? Ideally, and guys, this is my personal thing. I might be wrong. This is what I'm working on right now. I'm working on trying to put the pressure and assess, figure out where the opening is and go to where that opening is. Listen, yesterday I was doing Jigeko with visiting sensei, and there were a couple times where he opened up for kote. But because I was so ingrained into my man, I didn't take the kote, right? Like he opened up like this, and I couldn't get a clean kote where I actually made a pressure to make that opening. So I will end up going for the man because this is kind of what I had in my mind. So this is something that I think all of us kind of have to fight. At least I have to fight a lot against. And this is one of the aspects that I'm working on myself. Okay, we're just gonna skip the back shot. We're gonna go a little bit forward. Okay, let's go above here. This, let's watch this one. This one catches my attention. Guys, how is the stream right now? Is there lagging? Because YouTube is telling me that they're not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Okay, now it went away. So Conan, you said that you discovered that years ago. Oh, you discovered that years ago. Just being in the moment and naturally hitting the available target is the next level up, if you will. But it requires a clear mind. Oh, yeah, that's what I require too. A clear mind. I got you completely. Man, I really hope we get to practice together at some point, and then we go to second dojo together. I really do. Really do. Okay. Oh, why didn't I press play? I wanted to watch this real quick. Okay, so there's pressure coming in from the right side. Sensei tries to go around maybe for a kote, and I don't know if he got it or not, but I like the commitment out there for the men after. Again, this is, I don't know if he had it already in his mind. Listen, and a lot of times when I'm fighting a sensei, I try to stick to the men, right? I try to not be tricky and go anything. We not try to go to different places. You just try to stick to the man and trying to get an opening for the man. If there's an opening for a kote, of course, I'll try to get a clear, like I said, clear-minded kote. But I try to stay away for too many times kai shido or things like this, because I want to be able to pick up how can I make that opening and coming in for the men. And maybe it's also what's happening here. I know it happens a lot when we fight against senseis. Conan, you said it will be a bad idea because we'll talk till morning. I think we'll talk until they kick us out of the place. So maybe it wouldn't be, we can safeguard ourselves with that. But yeah, I think it will be cool. Anyways, let's keep going. Okay, guys, I'm gonna tell you something. Actually, another person I want to bring is a sports psychologist to talk, a sports psychologist that does Kendo, to talk about self-improvement and all these things. I think that will be an interesting talk. But I'm gonna recommend you this and something from the field of psychology that I picked up. When you're reviewing your own videos, try to focus more on the good stuff. I know when I'm doing this analysis, I'm trying to pick up everything, but I'm also trying to keep an eye on the good stuff. I just saw something that I want to fix for myself, and I'm going to bring it up. But as you personally are watching the videos, you should try to also look for the good stuff. Even when you're watching a video from somebody that's like, lower level and has a lot of mistakes, you want to look for the good stuff. It helps you improve and create a better image. Studies show that it helps you create a better image and better visualization in general. So not only with Kendo, by the way. This is actually, this study was done with football players. But anyways, so here, you're gonna see something. And this is something that happens quite often. I'm just trying to reduce the times that it happens to me. Okay, I'm going frame by frame, so take a second, guys. Okay. Okay, he's going to put the pressure in. Sensei, it's returning the pressure, right? And then, actually, this I really like. This is something that I also I'm becoming aware of it and trying to use it more often, where he's coming in immediately, bringing the left leg. I think this is the one that I said, like where he's not gonna really put his weight in, he's gonna go directly into the technique. Yeah, you see, like, so He went in, he stepped in. This is, listen, this is a great skill to have. To come in, start putting the pressure. So at this point, he's not really committing to the technique, but he is ready to execute the technique. He could have dropped down his weight here to readjust his left foot, or like he did in here, he directly went into the technique. So this is a great skill to have, something that sometimes we don't really practice enough because we just want to go directly into the technique. But if you pick this up where you can actually start throwing your right leg forward without really committing to a technique to hold for that right moment of the opening, then you can shoot into the opponent directly in one step rather than have to do 1, 2, right? Now, what I'm saying that happened to him here, it's actually, and he did it amazingly. When I do this, like let's say, a lot of times if I miss, I could lose balance, right? So I'm trying to make it where it's like this. When I'm hitting, if I miss, it's just the same as if I miss. If I miss, it's just the same as if I hit. So working yourself into having good stability is important because you can do a technique, and if you miss it, your body will be ready to do the next thing if it needs to. In this case, obviously, maybe he got hit. Let me see. Yeah, okay, he got hit because he wasn't going fast enough. But what you want to do is you want to be able to have the ability to come in, and if you miss, have the stability. Your man, your follow through, everything should look just like you just did men successfully. And if you do this, you're gonna be able to have the power to do the next technique and be able to continuously move into the next waza. You want to avoid falling out of balance or being at a spot kind of like here where he kind of comes in a little bit too slow and his partner it's able to immediately go for a hikiwaza. Okay. Now, this is a very interesting exchange for myself. Okay. Sensei gives pressure. He went back, he was going back, he held his ground and then he returned the pressure forward. I feel that here is kind of what made it a little bit more successful for him to be able to get a clear man. I know Sensei throws a kote. I didn't really pay attention if he connected or not. We're gonna see it now. But here, okay, he didn't really connect it because he was a little bit too close already, right? So he was able to come in for that man. But I feel that what gave him the success is to be able to do this right here, kind of what we were talking about earlier, where he is not really putting all the weight in here. He could have stopped himself from going, and then from there he goes up. Now, on top of that, he had control of the sword over, and he was able to go from, I guess he went from the Ura side, correct? He went underneath. He held the sword as he was approaching, using his footwork, and then for a man. Again, not just throwing yourself, but being able to start showing commitment, but being able to hold yourself, having this opportunity with your footwork where you can throw your body in, control, and then if you have the opportunity, if you have the opening, finish your commitment. It's much better than just throwing yourself in, or even worse, going in, stop, trying to pressure, and then switching into a technique. You want to try to blend one into the other rather than making two separate things out of what should be one motion or one fluid attack. I'm gonna say if I do a Jigeko against a sensei like this and I missed all my shots, but I get one like this, I'll be like, okay, I missed. I found out a couple of ways how to not do it, and then I found one way to do it. This is, I think, for me, my learning opportunity. So I'm gonna say here, I'm gonna break it down a little bit here. He puts the pressure and then immediately goes in. So now this is a little bit different, right? Because he brought the left foot forward, but he didn't break it down. He didn't break it. He made a continuous pressure. And this is the part also that what I'm trying to work, where the pressure is not broken by the step. Immediately he puts the left foot and is continuing the motion. I don't know. Okay, he didn't really make complete contact, but I'm gonna say that this is, I think, a good approach. He made it continuous. Maybe what made it for him possible, or what made him take the decision to continue, is because his opponent was also closing the distance, so he felt that that was going to be one of the opening. Because remember, you can attack, you know, maybe when the person just drops their guard, when you take the center, but in the middle of the step, he's trying to catch him before that point where the left leg is coming forward. Make sense? Here, I think we see an example of failed pressure, maybe. He comes in, he drops a shiai, he's trying to get a reaction, he doesn't get any. He gets pressure back, kind of with the same thing, and then they're having like a little bit of a battle of pressure right there. But then I guess he gets overwhelmed and he goes back, but immediately Sensei is coming forward. I think at this point it kind of became a little bit of a reaction. Who had the better reactions as they went? And what I'm gonna say, I like, again, Kotemen is one of my favorite techniques right now to practice, because I feel like it teaches so many skills. Or continuous waza, it teaches so many skills at the same time, not only like tenouchi, but also stability and footwork and distance off the step. If you see right here, there's a little bit of pressure. Then he does the kote, very short, and then he pushes in for the man. So kote man is something that I like everybody that I practice with to practice more. Ooh, pretty cool kote. Okay, pretty cool kote when it comes to the opening, how he made it, and also the impact, right? Pressure, fighting the shinai, so it makes him kind of overcompensate by having to pull up the shinai more, lift them, making the opening, and directly one motion into the kote. to then close the distance. I think that this was a good opportunity to make an opening. I think he did it very well because not only he put the pressure, but he got a clear opening. So I feel for this kote is much more satisfying to watch, and when you put in the pressure to get this result. And I feel like they start challenging the men, I believe. I men. Forgot. We couldn't see this because of the camera angle. Sucks. Look at this kotemen. One thing that I really like about this kotemen, it's the fluidity, the hand position, the arm position of going from the kote into the men directly, compact with strength. He breaks down, he hits down, and of course it wasn't really a kote, right? Like, but maybe otoshi. Okay, so he hits the sword down, but immediately look how he goes from knocking down the sword into the opponent's man. Right? Look at a full speed. It's interesting because you can almost see the tension and the relaxation between the strike. Right? Let's watch it frame by frame real quick. So, one motion forward, he covers, he tries to do kote, so he hits down, knock down the sword, and immediately pushing the left leg, pushing the left hand forward, he goes directly into the man without an overswing, going straight, and then squeezing with the tenouchi to get a very nice man. This also is possible because of his connection with the body, and he's able to transfer the energy all the way from his feet into the sword, into the attack. So it doesn't look like he's just like reaching into the man. It looks like he is like kind of like using gravity as well from the body. Pop, pop, right? It's not like this. It's one motion, body and sword all together. This is how you get power in such a small swing. Not by forcing your right arm, but by using your body, your wrist, and your fingers into a technique. Nice reach for that man, I believe. And I feel that this is something that we fall victim of many times, where we put our weight forward. If you look at this guy, you're gonna see the right leg, he kind of goes forward and he puts a lot of the weight on the right leg. You see how you can almost see how the left leg almost was looking like it was gonna leave the floor. And on the other side, you get a one motion forward, straight forward, and he was able to come in and make contact before this guy could do anything, because number one, sword was down, Number two, weight was mostly in the right leg, and it's much more harder to pretty much do anything like moving back or even counter the technique when you're in this position. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to put the pressure with the right leg, but you want to leave weight on the left leg, and not necessarily weight, but pressure with the left leg so you can go forward. But also, if you put so much weight forward, you cannot really retract that leg easier, right? And then secondly, and then also, you don't want to drop your sword and just relax your sword down, kind of lose the connection with your opponent. You want to keep that at least attentive towards your opponent. It's not the most successful of hits, but again, I'm trying to pick out what are some of the things that we can do better and what can we implement. So in here, I feel that Kenshi on the left, he triggered his commitment when he saw that the opponent was looking like he was taking a step forward, and maybe it felt like he was taking such a long step, maybe. It was kind of risky too because it could have also been a feeling of like going forward and going back, but I guess it wasn't. I feel that here, left guy went with a predetermined attack, not really an opening. I feel like now he's moving with much bigger steps, allowing the sensei to attack him more. I feel like he needs to have a little bit, maybe a more control stepping, going backwards to the side and forward, right? Because I feel like he's doing a lot of big steps. Westblade Paul, hi from Memphis Kendo Association in Memphis, Tennessee. I hope we get to practice soon. Register Sensei just left today, and I got to practice with him twice, so I was pretty happy. So I hope to see you guys over there soon. Thank you for passing by the way. This one too. You see, I feel like right now this guy is kind of just going with a predetermined attack. He's just going for the man and not really paying attention at the result of his pressure and going directly after taking a step. Okay, here, a lot of weight on the right leg, but this time he left pressure on the left. This is different than what he did before. Now here, you see, he kind of took the step, a long step, and then as he was bringing the left foot, guess what's happened? Sensei took it in. Took the man at that point. This is why you want to be able to be swift on moving your steps. And I cannot say it enough, guys. I feel that short steps in Kendo are underrated. You have to have more. You can have much more control with a shorter step than with a long step. Right here, at this point, he took a long step. It took him a long time to bring the left foot forward. And at that point, that time was enough for the other Kenshi to come and take an Ippon. Ooh, hey, that looked like it was gonna hit an elbow. Nice man as well. And I like to see, if you guys know, I like to practice, perform, watch I-Man, the Gashira Man. So let's watch this last Ippon, because this is the last one of the video. Ah, hold on, he got stuck. Hold on, give me a second, guys. I hate when this happens. Hold on. Last Ippon, guys, last Ippon. The end of the video so was a problem for some reason. Okay, so here we see. You see, it all wins. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me see. Can I? How is it that I lower? Okay. So right here, what you're gonna see, we won't be able to see it in slow motion, sorry guys, but you're gonna see that the sensei is gonna start the pressure, it's gonna start the motion, but then after that pressure, he commits to the technique when the opponent is coming in. So you're gonna see a change of timing. The one on the right is gonna start putting pressure, and when the left one comes in, he finish with an extra push into the technique. Let's see if we can see it frame by frame here. You see he puts the pressure in, and then he doesn't put the weight on the right leg. He immediately goes in, but he changes the speed. Here he went a little bit slower, and now he puts the effort to go for the technique. This is one of the best skills you can actually start practicing to understand how to hold your body, how to have more stability and control, to be able to throw your right leg and not necessarily committing to a technique. And I'm gonna call it almost like skipping rock on the water. Your foot does this thing where it's coming in, he puts a little bit of pressure because maybe he had to stop, but he didn't have to stop. And the pressure of the body, the energy of the body never got cut. It went from here, it went from like here, and the energy keep going up. It didn't stop. The momentum never stopped. The pressure towards the opponent never stopped. And the commitment never stopped. He had the opportunity if he needed to, but he didn't need it to, so he just went in. Does that make sense? I'm gonna try to see if I can find more videos of this specifically, because for me, this is something that I don't see many people really talking about this. They just want to, or not even talking about this, but just kind of people commit from much farther out, and they have the need that they need to put all the effort from the beginning, and they just shoot the leg, shoot the man, and what ends up happening is that the attack becomes very predictable because it's only one timing. Here, when you're coming in with this pressure, okay, let me just backtrack a little bit. Normally, most people come in with just one timing. They just feel like they need to attack, or they feel that they can just put the pressure and attack, and they just throw their body in. Almost like a predetermined technique in your head. In this video, you see a little bit of pressure. The left leg engages the body, starts moving the body forward. The right leg is coming in and is getting into a position where it could stop the body from going forward, but it doesn't if it doesn't need to. So in this case, in the video, he's going in, he's seeing that the opponent is closing the distance and he's in movement and he's in motion, so he is able to throw the body and just finish the technique. But now he puts all the effort he needs on the left leg, changing his speed, therefore changing the timing of the technique of when it's coming. So it's almost like, it's not the same, but it's almost like it's not the same, but it's almost like you're lifting the sword slowly and then bringing it down quick. It's kind of the equivalent of it. Not really, but I guess that's the best analogy I can make on that. Hope that makes sense. If it does, let me know. If you guys haven't, please hit the like button on this video so that way this stream gets pushed out to more people. We get more people coming in. I want to remind you that next week on Saturday, same time, 11:30 a.m. Miami time, I will be doing an interview with Sage for Canada, and they do custom-made kote. They also do repairs and so on. So I want to get him and ask him all the questions about what do we need in our kote, what services he offers, what repairs, what modifications we can do in our kote, what can we get to get the better feel of our shinai, all these things, all questions about bogu and bogu repair, maintenance, kote, and everything. So if you can, please pass by so you can ask your questions. If you cannot pass by, if you would like to know the questions, I'll watch later. I'm gonna drop the Discord server on the chat. If you will pass by the Discord server, and you can leave me your questions there. If you have any questions, send it to me that way. And yeah, that's the server right there. Take a second, you can pass by over there. Doesn't cost you anything. You can ask all your questions and anything you need over there. Anyways, that being said, I think I'm gonna cut it off for today. I'm going to be trying to make small streams, maybe like about an hour, 45 minutes from videos during the week as well. So if you have any videos you would like me to review, go over it together, send them to me through the Discord. And yeah, in the meantime, thank you guys very much for passing by. You guys keep me motivated on learning and getting better at my Kendo and being very critical of my own Kendo. I hope to get to practice with you guys at some time. And in the meantime, enjoy Kendo, and please, let's try to get better and grow together in our Kendo. You guys have a good rest of your weekend. Take care.